want to go to our guest, Judy Powell, and they're voting on this today in the committee, and this is being passed all over the country, ladies and gentlemen. She's the co-founder, communications director. We should get her on sometime in studio on CPS. The battles she's been through with parents, because it's mainly middle-class people. They hunt your kids because they get top dollar from them, from the adoption houses. Just like in China, the Falun Gong that only eat organic and exercise have the best organs. And so they blood type them, genetic type them, and keep them there in their prison cell, exercise them, feed them well, until an American wants an organ. Of course, you don't ask where it's coming from. So they're warehousing our kids. That's a separate issue. But here is the bill. Document cam, please. The bill is HB 1340. The bill is HB 1340, and Judy Powell joins us. She heads up parentguidancecenter.org, and they're trying to pass it in the Texas House. Here is the bill right here. The bill would allow minors 14 age or older to consent to their own immunization unless the medical provider has knowledge the child's parent or guardian has expressly refused to give consent. You see, all over the country, they're giving kids shots as young as 5 without parental consent and saying it's an accident. They didn't know. California made it down to age 11. Now, can your 14-year-old give consent to have sex with maybe the principal? Principal's like, hey, your 14-year-old wanted it, wanted the drugs, that's why they sell drugs to kids or give it to them free to get them addicted and then say, now go take money out of your mom's purse and bring it to me. And then nobody busts him because he's paying the cops off. And so there you go, and the bill gets even worse in its language. And then next, they're also trying to get abortion without parental consent. Hey, you're in California, your 11-year-old needs a letter to go to the planetarium or the zoo, but not to get an abortion or get shot up with deadly vaccines that the insert says can kill them. So Judy Powell, fighting this valiantly, is a citizen activist right down there at the Capitol right now. She joins us from the Capitol. Judy, thank you for joining us. Tell us the latest on this bill and the phone numbers and who we need to call and what we need to do right now.
Well, the latest is it's going to the House floor today. We're thinking maybe in a couple hours.
Oh, it's already out of committee. Oh, my God.
It's out of committee, yeah. It's going to a floor vote right now today. It's on the calendar for today. So we need people to call their local representative and in the House side and tell them vote against HB 1340. That would be the best thing for everyone to do.
Doesn't it show how criminal the government is? They're shooting kids up everywhere and telling them it's the law, and then don't tell your parents. And then they're being caught doing this all over the place. And so now their answer is just say no more parental consent. I mean, this is unprecedented.
Right, exactly. And we feel like this bill is usurping parental authority and kind of going around the normal medical process. And it's really about probably the HPV vaccine, because a lot of these vaccines are required to get into school, and children know that. So say they're sitting at the doctor's office on a sick visit, and the doctor introduces some vaccine that's not required to get into school. They're not going to know the difference. And so they're going to say, sure, yeah, I want to be saved from cancer or whatever, the doctor's hawking at the time.
Oh, yeah, it's like, hey, we don't have to even go grab kids from CPS now and test stuff on them. We can just do it with your kids.
Exactly. And like you said earlier, they're not capable of consenting to sex. They're not capable. We don't let a 14-year-old, drink alcohol. They can't even go to the school nurse without oversight. They have a headache. They can't even take an aspirin without the nurse looking over their shoulder. Yet we're going to have them consent to these immunizations.
Well, see, that's the next phase of parents can't even give their kids a Tylenol. It's only the school. Only they can. Only they have the power. Sorry, go ahead.
And so, I mean, it's just expanding government authority over, of course, with the Federal Health Care Act going through, we think it has a lot to do with that. And so they're trying to get more and more kids into these hospital homes or the medical home, whatever they want to call it, and usurp the parental authority. And in this bill, specifically, the most disturbing part is if your child does consent, it has a clause that says the healthcare provider or facility is not liable for the immunization of a child under this section, except for the provider's or facility's own acts of negligence, which we already know in the vaccine industry that pharmaceutical companies are immune from prosecution. And so we have a bill here that says if we go ahead without your parental authority and vaccinate your kid and something happens, gee, I'm sorry Johnny died, we're not responsible. And so that's the most disturbing part of the bill, I think. besides, letting a 14-year-old consent. Now, they try to cover themselves in the bill by saying that that they already have on file that a parent has consented to medical treatment. But medical treatment, in our opinion, is very different than an immunization. An immunization is a choice. Medical treatment is, sure, if your arm is broken, reset it. If you're in an emergency situation, resuscitate. I can't think of any instance that we have an immunization that's going to save a kid's life. So they say that if you've consented to this medical treatment, then you've already consented. But that's a very different thing in the immunization world, because so far, many states, we still have a choice for religious exemptions or philosophical exemptions.
Absolutely. Now, is there a general number? Because every time I try to find numbers, there's numbers for each person. We'll put them back on screen. Should we call the Speaker of the House or who was most? Because people will say, give us a number. If people are so lazy, they won't even find the number or type in Texas State House contacts, you can find how to email them. Because, again, I should have dug these numbers up before you got here. Do you have those numbers in front of you, or do you have a general switchboard number?
Unfortunately, I don't.
Yeah, I go through this every year or so when I end up going over the Texas State House. I'm going to hang it on the wall next time. Of course, they change numbers sometimes, too, so that we can do that. But, of course, they try to hide the numbers as well. Will you put it back on screen? I'll just hand give these out individually to everybody out there on the radio. We'll punch that back up, and you can go to...
The best thing to do is find your address. Like, if you go to the regular site and you type in your address and you find your representative, because representatives listen to their constituents specifically. So if you go to the main site, it has an area that says, who is my representative? And you can click on that and you put in your home address, and they don't keep track of that, as far as we know, right?
Sure, you can go to texasdirectory.com, and they've got all the up-to-date numbers for each member. But again, and if you're listening in New Mexico or you're listening in Maine, they are trying to pass this and are passing this everywhere. In some cases, children as young as 11. And it overthrows common law, common sense. Did you see MSNBC officially in ads now say that the state basically owns your children?
No, I didn't see that.
I'm sorry, your phone's breaking up.
I've been up at the Capitol 24/7, so I have not seen NBC.
Well, no. I mean, this happened a while back. It's just that they're getting more bold.
Oh, absolutely.
So do you know how many votes they have? I mean, is it a close vote or what's going on?
We don't know yet. It's just going to be a general vote. We are working with some other groups that have blanketed the Capitol with some flyers, with some talking points, like the Homeschool Coalition, the Texas Homeschool Coalition, also the National Vaccine Information Center. The local Texas vaccine group is Parents Requesting Open Vaccine Education, PROVE. They've been working hard on it. But the other side is very strong. They've got more money. All of us are working, we're volunteers. And so the other side is coming from, the doctors and the hospitals and the pharmaceutical companies. They have a lot of money that they put into these vaccination campaigns. So, and they spew out a lot of, dangerous, scary statistics to these representatives. And I think that the representatives, they have a good heart a lot of times and want to do the right thing. But I think that they're kind of wowed and wooed, bamboozled by the statistics. We don't have an HPV epidemic going on in our state where, girls are just dropping dead from cancer because they didn't get their HPV vaccine. We have no numbers like that proving that we have people dying, by the millions from the flu or any of these other vaccines.
They give people 20 times the vaccines they did in the 50s. They're filled with every horrible thing. The UN's been caught adding sterilants to it on record. Anybody can look it up. This government, with its history of secret experimentation, cannot be trusted to do anything. So everybody in Texas who doesn't want to have their kids forcibly inoculated, because that's what they do. They convince them, oh, you want the shot? You want the lollipop? This is just amazing.
And I was afraid of my doctor. Kids, I'm like, okay, this is the doctor. He must know best. And so you're going to do whatever the doctor, it's an authority problem here. You're going to put this kid under authority that they don't understand that they have a choice.
No, exactly. It lets the government bully your child into doing whatever they want. Government Government sets up checkpoints now and searches everyone's bags illegally with guys in uniforms and guns. Now, have you seen the forced inoculations they've done in like Maryland, where they have the police in riot gear and barking dogs and say it's the law when it's not? And in a giant exercise of brute fraud, they give them the injections?
And this is the level that they start at. They start with kind of a low-level coercion, kind of under people's noses, it's for your own good, and then they're just going to work up from there. The next step would be requiring these vaccines and then taking away our choice.
A bunch of states are doing that now, yes.
Exactly, right. We don't want Texas to be one of them. And so if we fight back now, see, the law that passed in California that let children consent to immunizations was specifically for STDs. Now, of course, we're opposed to that as well. But this law in Texas, 1340, is more expansive. It does not say just for STDs. It just says for immunizations, period. So that's going to be any immunization they want to give our kids. We need to stop it. And I think people have the power to stop it. They don't know that they have the power. The representatives, listen, when you start bombarding their offices with phone calls, they listen and they get afraid to vote for something that's bad. And they pull back on it. And that's what we need today.
But the American people are so passive now. That's why we become so enslaved. Texas is still free to a great extent because people are instinctively wary of government. But Austin has been colonized by Californians. A lot of them are my friends, but people fleeing California. But now the second wave are here saying this is California. I've actually had Californians tell me that, oh, you're one of those Texans. We're going to show you. And it's like, oh, my God, you're going to show me? I mean, it's just bizarre.
Yes, please don't bring your California laws to Texas. We're all in trouble.
It's like a cult, man. It's a cult. All right, well, you're doing great work over there at parentguidancecenter.org. Everybody should check it out. Judy Powell, we'll get you in studio sometime with good audio. Great job down there at the Capitol. We'll see what happens with this fight. Anything else?
Thanks a lot for doing what you do, Alex.
Thank you.
Keep it up.
All right, it's one of my wife's friends. Great lady. I'm just desperately trying to get you to think, get you to take action, get you to stand up and say no to the New World Order. And I'm asking our listeners, who are great, active people that love liberty, to reach out to their friends and family and really alert people. And I am seeing more and more signs that people are getting awake, are getting involved. But now is the time to be as aggressive as possible. I mean, if the government can publicly use al-Qaeda against Libya and Syria while taking our rights because of the al-Qaeda threat, you know you're in trouble. If Congress can be having hearings about, they've already begun to take federal pension funds. They've already spent them. You're still getting fiat checks, but the money's gone. That's been given to foreign banks. If they can take pension funds, I mean, my God, you're talking about the end of society as we know it, the end of confidence in the system. I have so many reporters say to me, Alex, you're going to destroy confidence in America. America is being destroyed by the globalists. They're destroying the confidence. My confidence, my reliance is on common sense because history has shown any government big enough to give you anything you want will take everything you've got. That's just the way the world works. Look how jealous and envious and non-sharing the average person is, even if they're not a bad person. People just cannot share. I have done probably 10 different media deals with people over the years, financing films, you name it, and in no case did they ever pay unless I controlled the money. Everyone that's done business with me has been paid exactly what they were owed or more. Every other person I've worked with would not pay me and would destroy a relationship because they couldn't give people the money. Hollywood, even big shows like Doomsday Preppers, they don't have paid crew now on them. They have all these Hollywood people and camera folks who will work for free. It's the same thing with a lot of the people that do roadie work and stuff. Used to get paid a lot, then it was paid a little, then it's, okay, well, work for free for a while to prove you'll do it. I'm not talking about some college, work for a T-shirt. I'm not talking about people that have never been a roadie, that don't know sound, that don't know light. I mean good people. That's a race to the bottom. That's not building a culture. That's not building a civilization. The globalists are totally cutthroat, folks. You can build a true free market of excellence where people demand better and better, and you build a civilization. we're going the opposite direction. And everyone knows this. And then I think about secret geoengineering programs, partially declassified, and just the sci-fi-ness of what we're in. And who knows what we don't know about. The average bureaucrat, the average even billionaire, the average senator doesn't even know what's going on. This, because it's so complex, even though it's all public, most of it, no one even in power will look at it because they're too busy doing their specialized job to go have sex with their mistress or go play golf. Or go to a gala and be a narcissist and wave at people. I mean, that's what they're into. I am into how the world really works. I am immersed in what's going on. And I have the quasi-photographic memory over the years to be able to integrate it and the historical lens. And then and now I can report to you that it wasn't hard. This stuff is hiding in plain view at point-blank range. We'll cover the Benghazi hearings tomorrow. We'll get into everything. The police have confirmed in England that, yes, Bilderberg is there this year. I'm going. Everybody needs to be there. There's incredible news at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. They're doing everything they can to censor us and block us and Google to delist us. Please support Infowars.com. Please support liberty. I mean, I'm not fighting these guys to lose. I know if we have a loser mentality, we're going to lose. I know if we engage them, we're going to win. Every time we do engage, we win. Justice has providence behind it. So spread the word about Infowars.com. Spread the word about the radio show. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.